Hi everybody, it's Honest John. Now, the Republican base is mostly white, anti-intellectual, generally poorly educated, and almost impossibly uninformed. In short, they are the equivalent of the lowest common denominator. And they will stay with Donald Trump no matter what. They will do this because in many ways he is one of them. Now he's rich, which they certainly aren't. And he did have the benefit of a higher education. But this education that he got doesn't seem to have penetrated very much. Like the base that is loyal to him, Trump is intellectually incurious and completely uninterested in learning anything new. Trump's business practices have all the sophistication of a third-grade bully. He has had way more failures than successes. The only major banks that are currently willing to deal with him is Deutsche Bank. None of the others will fund anything that he wants to do. So this has forced him into the arms of the Russian oligarchs and the Russian mafia. And if he loses an appeal that is currently going through the court, he will lose the Doral golf course in a foreclosure sale. And this lack of sophistication has transferred it over to his campaign. This has endeared him to the GOP base, but has prevented him from expanding beyond that. The majority of Americans on both sides of the aisle seem to think that it's kind of important for a president to actually know stuff. Once in a while, Trump does take his advisors' advice and pretend to be presidential for a speech or an appearance. But within hours, he's back in the gutter, name-calling and making baseless accusations. His latest attack is calling President Obama and Hillary Clinton the founders of ISIS. And he said, if we had left just a few thousand troops in Iraq, we could have prevented ISIS from forming. Now, this does continue the racist Republican tradition of trying to paint Obama as a foreigner, a secret Muslim, and a terrorist sympathizer. And the GOP base just laps that shit up. But the facts are these. And there's something that no Republican wants to talk about. It was George W. Bush that signed the agreement to withdraw our troops from Iraq, because the Iraqi government insisted that our troops should be subject to Iraqi law and tried in Iraq courts. And this is something that no president would ever agree to. But ISIS had already formed long before we left Iraq. They were just laying low during the surge. Their original name was Al-Qaeda in Iraq. And it was the decision by the Bush administration to disband the Iraqi army that led to its creation. When the surge was over and our troops left Iraq, all of it, they didn't just spring up out of nowhere. They were already there, just laying low. So, if Republicans were going to be honest, they would have to admit that the founders of ISIS were Republicans. George W. Bush, Donald Rumsfeld, and Dick Cheney. Thanks for listening.